on. And we're live. Here we go.
Last night I got mad. I said things I shouldn't have said. No. I wanted him to know how deeply I feel. I wouldn't even let him talk. All he could do was walk away. He was gone and it was too late for me to say it's just that
Ugly, bad, not nice at all.
it's just that
You all got it? That's over the ugly part of me. That's what we're talking about tonight. Friday Night Live with Dr. Kim. That's me. I'm back another Friday night, and I've got the crew with me. I called them the Dream Team. I went out fishing, and I said, I need the sisters back who brought it in the last 6 to 12 months. And so a couple of my sisters were not able to make it. Shout out to Angela Yah and shout out to Tony Avery, who were not able to join. Sister Venus. So, but these are the ladies that were able to accept my invitation for tonight. And so we're getting into, are you the toxic one in your relationships? So much on social media about toxic relationships. Oh, I just can't do the toxic, and sometimes it's us. Sometimes it's you, right? And so before we get into the new year, new me, because we're right at New Year's Eve tomorrow and people making New Year's resolutions, 2023 is going to be my year. We hear that, right? Every year we say that, and we end up with the same list, slightly revised, of things that we started and didn't finish. And so I posit tonight that the reason why is because we never addressed the root reason, right? For those resolutions. I want to lose some weight. That's the number one, right? So you already see, wait a minute, when I was in Meijer yesterday, every aisle has water bottles. They got free weights. Everybody about to get the fat off of them for the next 2 weeks. And then the gym will be just like it's been, right? Why don't we follow through on resolutions? Because there's something missing on the inside. Some stuff on the inside we haven't addressed. Some of it's toxic. So before we get into that for tonight, like I said, we're here. Friday Night Live with Dr. Kim. You need to share this link with somebody because there's somebody that you know that needs to hear this. It could be the person that you're in a relationship with. Give you something to talk about later. It could be somebody you want them to see themselves, but you don't have the nerve to tell them. Just send them the link. And maybe they'll identify themselves like, is she trying to tell me something? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. But definitely a conversation started tonight. So I'm going to go around and you're just going to tell the people who you are, what brings you here, and then we're going to get into it. Okay. So I'm going to start with Regina. Then I'm going to Marie. Then I'm going to Takara. And then Angelia. And then Valencia is going to close out our introductions. All right. Go, Regina.
Hello, everybody. My name is Regina Drake. Once again, I'm here on the Dr. Kim Show, and tonight we're talking about toxic relationships and how to identify them. But I just want to say a little bit about myself. I'm a former teacher with the Archdiocese of Chicago and the Academy of St. Benedict the African. and doing some substitute. But in my spare time, I like listening to the blues. I'm a juke joint woman, born in
Not the
Mississippi.
juke joint.
The juke joint girl, the juke joint, born on a plantation. We had cows, hogs, pigs, and we had all that good stuff. So we raised our own food. We had the garden. I didn't know what it was like to buy meat out of a store until I moved to the city. But I'm just glad to be here, to be sharing again. And I'm so honored that you asked me to be a part of this last show of
Most
2022.
definitely.
Looking forward to 2023.
Woo, woo. Okay, Regina, come on, Miss Maureen. Just unmute yourself.
Talking. Forgive me. Hi, everyone. Hey.
Hello.
It's so good to be here. It's so good to even be thought of to be a part of this beautiful forum and these awesome women and Dr. Kim. By profession, I'm a registered nurse. Been a registered nurse since 1990. I'm a mother of 6, grandmother of 2. Primarily, my life, my love, my legacy is Christ first. I love people. Some people say I have a sense of humor. Laughter for me is the best medicine. I've had, like many people, many trials, tribulations, and even tests to deal with the toxicity that I make in my life and have affected so many of my relationships, not only relationships with saying men, but just friendships and even with my children. But I thank God for showing me and guiding me through the release of these things, and not always pointing a finger, but remembering that when I do, 3 fingers are pointed back at me.
Always.
So man in the mirror first. So thank you all for accepting me. Thank you, Dr. Kim, for accepting me, and look forward to the discussion.
All right. Come on, Takara.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Takara,
Hello.
aka the Identity Architect. I help Christian female women live, unlock, and rediscover their purpose to help them to build books, brands, businesses, and themselves. I have my own publishing and consulting company called Boss Publishing and Consulting International, where I help my clients to monetize their genius through authorship, to shift their ship into entrepreneurship. And so I'm really excited, as I call myself the Identity Architect. There's things that we have within our vaults that can be toxic to our productivity, not only as women, but as those who are to birth out purpose within the earth. And so we have to start doing that hard dig. And a lot of people don't want to do that. I call it the surface living that a lot of people want to live on. They don't want to go underneath and do
Ooh, not at all.
So I'm excited about tonight's topic because there are a lot of people who are truly looking to be their best selves and don't know where to start. And right here is a great place at the end of the year, so you can really sharpen those tools within your vault to be powerful in 2023 and beyond. And I push my mic.
Okay, come on, Angelia.
Woo, child, you put me behind, huh? Good
I'm gonna say she said the stage.
Lord, I know I sign up at. That's what I want to know. We need to talk this.
Yes, you do. She's somebody to know.
Well, I'm just meek and humble, Miss Angelia. I'm Angelia McCrary Parker, mother of 4, grandmother of 2. Bachelor's in nursing, worked in a hospital setting for over 20 plus years, worked for the government for 13. But again, I'm a devout member of Trinity United Church of Christ, raised up under my second daddy, Pastor Jeremiah Wright,
Reverend Doctor,
who has made
Jeremiah A. Wright,
Reverend Dr.
Junior, period.
Period. Okay. And one thing, I was raised up in that church at 18, and he has raised us to be strong, independent, thinking Black women. And because of that, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the opportunity of Dr. Kim to allow me to come on this program, not to spew my views, but to just be a part of the conversation. I always come away learning something, and it's been such an incredible blessing. And I'm so humbled that you have asked me to be a part of this awesome event, this
Yes.
awesome moment of intellect, of strong Black women, thinking women, productive women, loving women, spiritual women. I just always get so much. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. Oh yeah, and who else? Terry Parker's wife.
You better. I was about to say, come on now. And the wife of Terry Parker.
Yes, Lord. God bless me with that blessing at 50, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, Lord.
That's why I said you need to talk to her, because that's a whole story. You need to get that in print quickly.
Baby.
Okay. All right. And bringing our introductions to a close is the incomparable Valencia Bay. Come on, sis. Tell them about yourself.
All right, I'm Valencia Bay. I'm a divorced mother of 4. I am an executive at a tech startup and I also have a consulting business doing user experience research. I'm also a musician, very creative. I'm a jewelry designer, and I also mentor women who are who desire a career change or a life change, but mostly career, to help them to increase their earning power.
Awesome. Do you see
Yes.
the plethora of gifts on this stage tonight? Do you see the eclectic blend of excellence and perfection and beauty surrounding me? You see, that's how I roll. And so a lot of shows, I like to do things different. A lot of shows you may see clinical experts on there. I like surrounding myself with people who have doctorates in life experience. And these ladies definitely fill the bill. Not only have they experienced it, but they consider it not robbery to share. And I think that's something that is missing a lot of times in our society, is people will evolve and grow, and then we keep it to ourselves, when the real payoff is sharing that experience with others, so they can benefit from the trials, the tribulations, and the life experience. We have mothers here, we have grandmas here, a lot of helping professions represented here, but most importantly, all women who have loved, lost, who have grown, like I said, who have evolved, but who I consider to be totally authentic, totally transparent. And if you ask them, they're going to tell you. Okay, if you ask them, they're going to tell you in no uncertain terms, which is the other thing that I like about them. And I think we all have in common is we can use the King's English if that's what you want, but we can also break it down where a 2-year-old can walk away with it, make it travel size, take it on the road and use it. And so for those of you who are joining us new, it's good to see you, Floral. We got Jeanette. We got Sister Emma there. Come on, it's good to see you all in the chat. Talk to me there, okay? We're about to get started. Make sure you're inviting somebody else. I got to look. I'm going light tonight. Just a little Moscato. Last week I went a little rough. I said I got to lighten up because tomorrow's New Year's Eve, so I got to save it and get it in tomorrow.
Amen.
But for those of you who are coming in for the first time, like I said, Friday Night Live is the time where we talk about everything concerning life, love, relationships. Some of these conversations start in my Facebook group, Life and Love According to Dr. Kim, which was formed, why? Because there are so many relationships that are falling apart, particularly in the Black community. I've never been a white woman, so I can't talk about that experience. But I know in the Black community, we have seen a diminishing of the family unit. And so I have marched. I'm a voter, and there's a lot of things that I've done around the diminishing of the Black family. But this is the part that I feel most invested in doing, because if we can't stay together, get together, first of all, we can't stay together, I don't think we're ever going to be able to heal as a community. So that's the space I sit in. That's my intersectionality, is I love love, like Miss Marie does. That's how we connected. I love love, and I love talking about relationships. So if we can heal ourselves, right, which we're talking about tonight, and enter into healthy relationships, our communities will begin to flourish, and we can walk in the excellence and the wealth of knowledge, right, and create generational wealth, not just financially, but also emotionally as well. So that's my reason for sitting here, because there's tons of places you could be tonight, but you're here. I need to know why you were here, because everybody's talking about relationships. And sick of this topic, which is why we're going to put it to bed tonight. So are you the toxic one in the relationship? People don't like that question. The first person who ever asked me something like that was my dear mother. Hey, mama, because I know sometimes my mom and dad, as they're going through YouTube trying to find what they want to watch, they go, oh, there's Kim again doing, you know, that show she does. What's she talking about? Oh, Lord. And sometimes they just go on past because they're like, that girl, she's liable to say anything. But if you're watching tonight, hi, Mom. And so she was the first person to ask me about me being the problem in my relationships. You talking about somebody falling on the floor. Ma'am, wait a minute. First of all, I'm your child. So, you know, if you made me, I must be all that in a bag of salt and sour chips, not just regular chips, salt and sour. Okay. And so, and she says, but look, here's the issue. And this is where we're going tonight. If the same things keep happening to you, baby, you are the common denominator.
Yep.
Now, these people may have actively done some things to you, and there's anecdotal evidence that they have. However, if every time you come to this conversation, you are involved, at some point, you got to stop and look at you. So this is not meant to be a self-degrading conversation at all. This is not something I want you to leave tonight. Well, damn, you just beat yourself up. But there is a level of self-awareness that we need to have so we can venture forth with success in 2023 in our romantic relationships, in our platonic relationships, in our work and business and familial relationships. Everywhere we show up, we need to be aware of what we're bringing to the table. Another one of those phrases that I'm hearing overused, but you need to be aware. What are you bringing to the table? You bringing some stank? Or are you bringing quality to the table? Honestly, you know, I go in and out. Did you see how I did that? Okay. So are you the toxic one? So what does it mean to be toxic? Because we hear that a lot. The word toxic in itself means poisonous. So that's bad. Nobody wants poison. So what does poison do? Poison infiltrates the environment that it enters in, right? It's what else?
It can kill you.
It's harmful. It's unpleasant. This was my favorite when I saw it. I looked up. It's insidious and pervasive. So it destroys. It destroys everywhere it shows up. So if you have any part of your personality that's unpleasant, okay, that's harmful, it causes harm. I didn't mean no harm, but you're causing harm. May not be your intention, but again, if you got a trail of baggage behind you, a trail of destruction, boom, that's toxic. If it's pervasive, if it tears up the very thing that you're trying to hold together, it's toxic.
Yikes.
So for the purpose of our conversation, I wanted you to know what we're talking about when we're saying toxic. So who wants to say something before I go forward? Because it say like you all like, yeah, I saw a lot of in the amen corner. Anybody want to jump in on that?
I would just like to say that we can be our own worst enemy. And I say that all the time because in relationships, we're going to have ups and we're going to have downs, but we got to search ourselves to see what role that we play in our own relationship that can make it toxic. As I was going through one of those quizzes that you sent for us to take, in the relationships, I found out that I was selfish. And I thought about that. Selfish, not me. I'm not selfish. So as I thought about that and what selfishness really means, I found out that I am selfish. I want what I want. And sometimes I didn't care in a relationship if he got his or not, as long as I got mine. And so that's what made me selfish. So I had to start thinking. And then I say, maybe I should kind of sit back and watch and and let him do some of the things that he do, that we do together, instead of me telling him, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, not being concerned about what he's doing. But I have to stop that, and I had to look at myself in a different way. And then that's when I realized I can be toxic. I talk a lot, and a lot of times I don't even give him a chance to talk. I'm just all over the place. But then I had to just stop. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh no, that's not me at all. But in reality, at times it is me.
At
And
times.
at times it's me because of the way that I have been treated in past relationships. and
Okay,
how-
don't take us too far. Don't take us too far.
Okay, all right. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry.
And you on the right track. So I heard you say two important things. Is first of all, doing that quiz was a challenge. And so what she's talking about is I shared 2 quizzes, and there's tons of them out there. One of them just help you identify if you have any toxic traits at all. And then if you show up toxic in your relationships. And so same thing, I did the first one, and it was the one that were, I can't remember which one it was, but one was you a drama llama. We got that
Oh
one.
yeah.
And then I was like, well, dear Jesus.
Oh yeah.
And then the other one, I think it was the victim. It was either the victim or selfishness, like I said, which both we're going to talk about. So you said at times, so that's key. And the other thing that I found out is there are people who are toxic in relationships, and there's people who are toxic, period. What's the difference? We all have toxic traits, but there are some people who operate in their toxicity, right? Where they actually use it for their enjoyment.
Yes.
And that's what I saw consistently. That's where, and we're talking about borderline personality disorders, right? I'm not going to get into CM5 and all of that, but most definitely there's some people who operate in that and know that they're toxic and are proud of it. It's on my page.
Okay.
The link is on my page, and it's in the book. Okay. And those of you, I will send that link out. I will post it on my page, Elena, because I think it's like said food for thought. All of those quizzes to me just make you think. I don't think you accept the label. And we kind of talked about that within this group, like, I reject that. Like that's, because of the reasons that I think they put behind it. But to be able to look and say, are there some instances, as Regina just said, that I may show up like that? And most definitely there's reasons. So that was the other thing that I found out. The toxic behaviors, which I think every behavior has a reason, right? So when we see children have tantrums, when we see people holler out, when we see people, wild out in public, there's a reason behind it. So hopefully in your quiet time, if you hear yourself listed tonight, that you'll take that time and then unpack the whys. But right tonight, we're just trying to deal with the labels. And so if you find yourself, again, as I was saying, in the middle of turmoil, recurring cycle of relationships, ups and downs, it's time to take a look. It's time to take a look in. So before you start your purge list, and this is the other post, and I know you all have been seeing it for the past week, I'm not carrying no dead weight into 2023. I'm not gonna let some people go. I gotta, if you don't see this message after this, you wanna. So before you start that, I'm for real, you all haven't seen that. Maybe I got some toxic people on my friends list because I've been saying that like for the last 7 days. I'm so over it. I'm like, just defriend me. Just let me find out. Okay, I don't need the public announcement. Just go on. Cut me loose. Okay. But before you start that purge list, I'm inviting you tonight to purge some of this bad behavior so you can pack light moving into 2023. All right. Let's
come on, Doc. Come on, Doc.
But Dr. Kim,
Come on, Doc.
also too, just to add that also it's not always that it's the person with a volatile type of personality or trait or whatever, but sometimes individuals who are overly apologetic or the victim oh, I'm just this. And it can begin to wane on you if you are telling them, well, no, it's okay. Everything's okay. Well, you sure I don't want to be, and it comes off as if it's nice, but after a while, it begins to wear you out. Like if I said it was okay, then it was okay. If everything is fine, then so it's fine. So that's a certain level of toxicity too that can wear out a relationship, whether it's with a man or even just with friends or whatever the case. But this person who is just superly over the top, over to the extremes of trying to ensure that they're not hurting your feelings, or they're doing over and above no matter what you say, no matter what you do, and it begins to wear out on you.
It's
So
draining. So that's what we know
yeah,
about toxic relationships. Again, whether it's you or somebody else, it's draining. It's a heaviness, right? To maintain those relationships, because there's a drastic need that person is trying to fulfill. And that's what I want us, again, to understand tonight. For every behavior, there's a payoff, whether it's a positive behavior or negative behavior. And so these negative behaviors, again, those who are being intentional about it, and those who are being situational, as we're saying, there's still a need that needs to be met. And so that's definitely high up on the list. So let's jump in. The first one is being emotionally manipulative. And this is one, we don't have any men in here, bring some men in here, because I started off with this one because I know they have a short attention span. Yes, I said it. And this is one that women are often accused of, is being emotionally manipulative. And I have in my past been accused of this one. You get that crying, you start to crying, what else am I going to do? Now, I don't think that I was crying on purpose, but I think you also figured, I'm talking about me in my 20s. So before y'all start digging, but me in my 20s, you learn after a while, when I cry, things change. So when the tears come, I'm not going to fight them back. Let's just go ahead and cry, see what happens. It usually worked out in my favor. So I kept crying until I said, wait a minute. As my mom was saying, I kept hearing the men in particular in my life saying, you're just so emotional. And I'm like, well, that's kind of who I am, right? But that crying, when you get to crying, I can't even deal with that. I don't feel like I'm talking to an adult woman. I feel like you almost resort to a child. And so I just let you have your way, but the situation is not resolved. And so the tears are one, but I see people use emotional manipulation in other ways, guilting, well, you don't have to do it for me. Well, now I feel like an a-hole if I don't. So now you guilting me. Right? Kind of pulling the heartstrings to make me do something. Some people will bully you. Emotional manipulation. I know if I lean on this one hard, you're not? Oh, no, sister, I'll do it, no problem. Knowing I don't have time, resources, or whatever. Bullying to car. I saw that face. I know you got something to say about this. Or making people compete for your approval. That's one I see a lot in family relationships. Right? So I'm going to tell Marie what Regina did for me. So Marie will step up and do what I want her to do.
Yep.
Girl, you didn't have to do that. Of course I did, because you told me that Regina did, and I didn't even have to ask her.
And it's
Well,
interesting.
dang, let me try to go ahead and do this for Kim. So, because she know, and especially if you know this person is insecure about your relationship, right? She always wants to know if I'm really her best friend. He always really wants to know if he got me like the last guy got me. So I'm going to push that guilt and make you compete with everybody else to show me that you really care. Emotional manipulation. And then the silent treatment is my all-time favorite, which is terrible. When folks just go radio silent on you and watch you slither and quiver. See how long it's going to take before you do what I want you to do. Okay, who wants that emotional manipulation? Where have you seen that? Have you done that?
At
Let's talk.
home, in our childhood, it's been rooted in us in some shape or form, and so then we grow up and we think that these behaviors are okay, and they're not. And then now we are conformed to make a decision if we're going to debunk this learning that we have been accustomed to for all these years. Then are you going against the family grain and what you've been, the upraising of who you are, and are you going against the morals and the standards of the family because now you're
Not the
learning
standard.
the standards of the family? Don't make me flip this earring like it's my hair, because I will.
The standards.
As if that's the foundation for your life, and the key word in that sentence is your, because
Mhm.
we now have an informed decisions to make now that we know better and can do better, and then understand, okay, well, maybe they were just doing the best that they could, but God dog it, this junk is toxic, it's heavy. I'm out here being codependent, didn't know what codependent was till I sat on the couch and found out that I was codependent. So all these things that can be eliminated now with the power of knowledge. So how are we going to move differently now that we truly know differently? Knowledge is nothing if it's not applied.
Okay, but emotional manipulation. So how much of that is taught? Or is it situational? Or is it situational?
I'm going on mute on that one.
How much of that is taught? And I know that silent treatment
Mhm.
definitely is taught. Okay.
Yeah.
In a toxic way. Right?
But
What about those other ones? Are they taught? That's what you do. I have heard women actually instruct their daughters that
wow.
this is how you
Yes.
make a man do what you want him to
Wow.
do.
Exactly.
You ignore him.
Wow.
Ignore him. And eventually, because he's going to want something from you. So then get your needs met. So a lot of this is taught. So how do you overcome things when they're taught? And like you're saying, this what, just listen to what you're saying. I'm invested in this because this is how my family does things. This is the culture I come from.
I think that
Go ahead, Melissa.
either at a certain age or at a certain stage in your life, you just get tired. You get tired of feeling
Hopefully.
a certain way. You get tired of causing other people pain. Yes, hopefully. And then you reach a level of self-awareness and you start to say, you know what? I need to fix this. I don't like the result of this behavior. I need to fix it. So you start to fix it and you go through things, and some things get fixed right away. Some things it takes a long time because it's just a part of who you are. Or like Takara said, how you were raised. I was raised in an environment where my parents loved each other, but they fought.
Mhm.
So I grew up thinking that, okay, you fight, you break up, that's the cycle of love. And that's not normal. Other people's parents didn't do that. And then when other people's parents did it, they divorced. So
Mhm.
there were some people who understood how to move forward from it, but my parents stayed in, and they've been married for 56 years now, and that's how they operated for a very long time until they changed. But that was what I believed love was. So in my 20s, when I was married, and we fought like cats and dogs, we made up. And then in my 30s, I was like, I can't live like this no more.
That's too much.
I can't do this no more. And I started to see counselors and pray. And I was really into the church back then, and really just trying to change my behavior because it was not working for me, and I was miserable. So I kind of went to the other side. So at first, I've always been kind of like a people pleaser. So thinking that if if I just kind of stayed in the corner, my parents wouldn't holler at me when they got finished fighting. So then my marriage is like, okay, if I try to be this kind of wife and I don't argue with him, but it was just like we clashed all the time, and I never liked anybody to tell me what to do. So we were both toxic to each other, just like, okay, you're not gonna tell me what to do. What my mama did, I'm not my mama. I'm not my mama. So in my 20s and my 30s, that's how it
I
went.
ain't going out like that.
And
Right.
then in my early 30s and mid 30s, it was like, okay, I can't. We got these kids. We got to figure out a way to do this. And then eventually we divorced. But in my early 40s, that's when I really started saying, okay, so I kind of laid the foundation for change. And then so how do I move forward so that I don't end up in another relationship like that? And how do I teach my children now that they've seen these things? How do I teach them?
Oh my
How can
God.
I guide them so that they don't end up in the same kind of relationship that my parents had and that my father's parents had? And then because my mother's parents had a great relationship from everything that we saw, but and then how do I keep them? How do I help them to have healthy relationships so everybody went through therapy, everybody can talk about it, everything. But it's really just the level of awareness, I think, and a willingness to take accountability for the things that people say, you know what, that bothers me. And even if I don't agree with something somebody says, I'll say, okay, I'm sorry, and let me figure out how can we make this better? How can we get
See,
this? How can we
that's
make
the
this better?
that's the thing.
It's
That's the
really as
thing. I just
simple
want to put
yeah, because sometimes
go finish that thought.
sometimes we do things and we don't realize how they affect other people. We're just talking and we're just saying things, but when somebody says, that really hurt my feelings, or I don't like the way you said that, don't go, well, I don't know why you said that. Okay, I'm sorry. What is it about it that bothered you? Let's talk through it. Don't walk away. Let's work through it. Let's get through it, and let's create an environment where we can be honest with each other and not you don't feel like I'm toxic and I don't feel like you're driving me crazy. And that's
Mhm.
I don't even.
yeah.
The car about to run off the screen. I'm over here like, do I write? Do I listen? I don't even know what to do. You said so much. But the first one that stuck out for me, and thank you for everything you said, the first one that jumped out for me is when you talked about the children. I think I can only speak for me. I didn't realize a lot of what I was doing until I saw it show up in my kids.
Yeah, and I regret some of
Bless
that.
your hearts, and they're perfect, but when you start seeing yourself, and you're like, where the hell did he get that from? And you go, damn, that sounds like me. And it's like, oh Lord, I created this little monster. I showed them this dysfunction, okay, and practiced it in front of them. So now, how do I first of all say, Mommy was wrong. That wasn't right what you saw. And then now how do, like you said, now I fix myself so I can show you something different. Not just do what I say, right?
Yeah.
But to show you, demonstrate this for you, something different. So that's number one. And then number two, what you were saying about the listening. I think that's so hard when you finally find someone who's brave enough to say to you, hey, what you're saying affects me. That's hard to take that in, especially if you've been a celebrated person in your family. And that was my struggle. Everybody, the sun shines on me when I show up. So you're saying I did something wrong?
And mine was like, I don't bother nobody.
This is what I'm saying. Are you kidding me? People had kids hoping they had kids like me. Are you for real? I did something wrong? Yeah, even you. Okay. You served the one that died on the cross, but you ain't him. Big difference. Okay. There goes the car. She's swimming again. Somebody save her.
Killing me with the hands.
Somebody catch her. Okay. But that's hard. It's hard to hear. Like you said, if you could take, first of all, consider the source. So this is somebody I respect, and this is somebody I'm saying I care about. At least let me take in the information. And then, you take the meat, leave the bones. And say, okay, I own this part. Yeah, I'll probably do that. But this might be some of you.
But
Or I find that I only behave this way in the context of me and you.
that's it right there.
Some
That's
people bring out the
where
worst.
people don't want to sit in their own stuff
Yep.
No.
long enough
Yep.
to actually do the work to figure out, well, dang, I do act like that. And so for me, when I get those moments, I said, okay, God, show me where this came from. And he'll show me where it comes from. Whether, I don't know about y'all and how God shows y'all, but it be on a drive, sitting quietly in the shower, something. And when that revelation comes down and hits you, it hits you like a ton of bricks, and you're like, okay. And when you get that, now you have to make another decision. Am I going to just do something with this?
You better say that, girl.
And ignore. And so what I do is I want to kill it at the root.
Yes.
I want to go all the way deep down at the root. And that's why I say, God,
Yes.
show me where the heck did this come from?
Yes.
It might have come from my mama, or it might have
Yes.
come from learned behavior from this toxic relationship.
Yes.
This relationship. And you're like, all right, God, show me how to kill it at
Yes.
the root. And that
Yes.
part right there, that's where the work begins. But baby, you got to be willing to do the work.
Yes.
But first, you got to be able to, what you said, when does it come? When you steal. Most of the time, we will not sit still. So like I said, when the stuff hits the fan, we'll get rid of people. Like I was just talking about this big purge that everybody's getting ready to do. We'll get rid of folks, but your ass is still sitting right there.
That's right. That part.
I think all of it.
So now what?
I think all of it, Dr. Kim, is still just a part of the process. Because even just to hear my beautiful sisters and how you describe or how they describe, you know, it's like a surgeon. They can't go in right away and cut the cancer out. Before they can get the cancer out, they got to shrink the tumor. So you got to go through some chemo. You got to go through some radiation till now we can get it shrunk enough to now we can come in. And for most of us, many of us, the trauma that happened or the toxicity that began came from some trauma at some point in our childhood, whether it was spoken, whether it was physical, whether it was the idea we were made to believe about ourselves, or as my sister just so eloquently stated, to see her loving parents always in a war. So the interpretation of what she thought was this was what love was supposed to be. So it's not going to happen overnight. It takes somebody coming to, first of all, planting that seed. You know, Marie, girl, you know, I noticed something that every time when this happened, you just blow up. You just go right on in. What? I don't see that because it's difficult to see. But then somebody else come along and then say, girl, you know, and if it's enough saying, then now it's, well, wait a minute. Now it may be some years later down the line. It may be, it ain't gonna happen just right at the point that one person, two persons, three persons. It may be just like you said, Dr. Kim. Now I see this shit, in my key.
I'm sorry,
and now everything that other people have been saying is now coming to some revelation. And just as my beautiful sister just said, God, show me, because I can't see it. I see them, and now that I see something, I don't have the wherewithal to get to the root of the thing to take it out unless you help me. So if it is, I can say for me, the trauma for me was being molested by a pastor at 9 years old in a church.
Yeah.
And so, and then to come back at the age of 12, and it was my stepfather's brother-in-law. Then at the age of 21, a male co-worker, as I'm studying in a nurse's station, comes up and grabbed my breast. And then as an adult, a young adult in my 20s, my lead pastor, head pastor of our church, well known and well celebrated, fondling me, doing everything he could. And there was a list of other women along the way that it happened to. Jesus, so where was my voice?
Right.
So what was I going to do with the trauma? What was I going to do with the pain? But any child that has been molested or sexually abused internalizes that thing, thinking that it's your fault.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I ain't gonna let nobody else do this. and I ain't gonna let no other child go through this. And now this, so I'm not even seeing the anger, the rage, the unforgiveness, all these things that just happens. But in deep inside of me, wants to love a man, deep inside of me, wants to love another person, deep inside of me, but I don't have the wherewithal to get to the root of what's causing me this internal pain until I see Jesus. And just as my sister said, now I'm given the choice. Either I confess this thing or what's happening to me, because I can deal with the surface stuff, but until I get to the root of it, to be really healed and really delivered, then that's now. Now I can think about the incident and it not produce the same emotions, thoughts, or feelings that it
That's
did when
Yeah.
I was held captive.
That's
So it's a
it. That's
process.
it. That's it. That's it.
And this right here may be the start for somebody else. This
I
right
hope.
here may be leg number 2 of the race. This right here may be leg number 3. This right here might be the finality that somebody watching this needs to now, at this point, let it go. You've been given enough. You've been told enough. You've been prayed over. You slip and sliding in oil. You've already lost a whole lot and you don't want to lose no more. Now's the time to get down to it and get to the place where God can help you let it go.
For
I'm sorry.
good, once and for all. Somebody said, where do we send the offering?
Okay.
We're
Okay.
pulling out the tambourine. Come on, it's a space. I'll move the chairs if you need to run. It's a space. But literally, like you're saying, when you get sick, I call it with my girls the Fannie Lou Hamer moment. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
That's it. That's it.
You're like, I can't hear this anymore. Valencia just talked about it when I was like, I don't want to feel this anymore. This tiresome.
Yeah.
It's tiresome just to keep this up. And I gotta keep. Let me get give me my vocabulary back, God, because I just want to cuss. But you're just tired of messing with people, coming up with the schemes, like you're saying, to protect myself. That's work.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody says, I'm tired, or you see the repercussions of it, that there are some of us who get combative. How many times are you going to be arrested for assault? How many times are you going to be arrested for a domestic? Again, I'm talking men and women. I know some women beating the hell out of men because of what Maria's talking about. You're coming at me and I'm angry. And instead of giving you the words, I'm going to beat you. And I'm going to do some of these other things if I can ever get back to the list. But definitely that, the combativeness, I don't have the words. I haven't ever had to use the words, but I can now defend myself in ways that I could not before. And so I will not find myself a victim. So I'm gonna victimize you. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. You all better share this link. Let me take this before Angelia comes in here. You all better share this link. Somebody needs to hear this, like she just said. Somebody needs to be delivered, set free from this. Somebody needs to release this, whatever terminology you want them to use. Somebody, as I said earlier, needs to pack light going into 2023. You've been carrying this a long time. You've been masking it a long time. And on the surface, especially on social media, honey, we can show up however we want to show up and start believing our own hype. But behind closed doors,
my Lord,
in the secret spaces, in the spaces between our lovers, between our children, and again, our co-workers, because I done worked with some people. I'm like, I know you need to be on my couch or somebody's couch like yesterday because you're toxic. And you're awful, you're ugly. The ugly parts of you show up in these messages. I had a boss, it was his emails. I promise you, and Angelia, I'm coming right to you. I promise you, when I was started reading by the second line, I was like, oh, he was up late last night when he wrote this in his feelings. Sure enough, I would go to the timestamp, 10:30, 11:45. I said, look at you, you're a coward. Let me pull it together. Only because Maria's over there. I saw her look out my corner. I said, don't do it again. Look, I lost another earring. Okay. That's how bad it is tonight. Both of them fell out. Okay. But you could tell. And I was like, he could not fight fair. So this man wait till we all went to sleep. And honey, he would get us all in that email. But you could tell by the second line, I was like, oh, he went to sleep. He was in his feelings, sure enough. And I was like, oh, sometimes I'm like, that was the bourbon talking.
Yep.
I said what I said. Oh, that was that Jack.
Yep.
But he would be getting us. You can't type that 5 o'clock in the day. Toxic, toxic, toxic.
Yeah.
Grew up, does not know how to play well with others, and cannot use your words. Whole PhD and just ignorant.
And just ignorant.
Ignorant, but hurt. I haven't figured out yet, like I said, what his is. If I took the time, I just said, you know what, Kim gotta go. Y'all figure it out on your time. I've had enough. But anywho,
Whole mess.
okay, Angelia, come on in here. Now I'm going back to this list. You all share this link so somebody else can get this. Oh yeah, the borderline personality disorder is real. Like I was saying at the beginning, the people who actually actively push buttons on people, they know they're being toxic, and they sit back and watch and be like, boom, got you. That's the personality, borderline personality disorder. Most of us who are toxic and exhibit toxic traits are along the line of what Valencia has described and what Marie has described. We're responding to some trauma in our present or past life, and don't have an awareness of how we're showing up and how we're activating that in our relationships. So now it's some folks out here that know. They're like, in 3 easy steps, I'm gonna have you in the palm of my hand because I'm gonna do this, this, and that to you. Oh, it's a lot of that working around. But go ahead, Angelia, and then I'm going back to the list.
You know, I was also just thinking as everybody was talking, and I agree 100% with what everybody says. But you know, also we can be toxic to ourselves and not even.
Oh, she gonna turn the corner. I wasn't ready, but go ahead.
We can be toxic to ourselves. Sometimes we spend so much time wanting to be the everything for other people that oftentimes we lose sight about being what we need to be for ourselves. You know, I mentioned before on the other show, it was my 30s that I had the light bulb moment because I had spent all of my life being told, you got to take care of your sisters. You got to look out for this person. I was in a healthcare environment. And what do you do in healthcare environment? You're taking care of everyone else that needs being taken care of. And I didn't have a problem with that because I found joy in helping others. But you have to also be careful about that, because in caring for others, sometimes you can lose the ability to care for yourself. And then you don't see your own trait. Right. You can be toxic to yourself. You're doing so much for everybody else. And my husband says that a lot about me, that I'm so busy doing for everybody else, but when am I taking the time for me? When am I doing the self-care that I need to rehabilitate? I'm not working now simply because I have some medical issues that won't allow me to. And oftentimes I find that I still don't take the time I need for me to heal, I guess, if you want to say, because I'm so busy doing other projects. And I like doing it. I like doing these other projects. The problem is that I don't know when to turn it off. And so then I become toxic to myself rather than being supportive of the thing that I'm trying to do, if that makes sense.
Call me Carolyn. I'll help you turn it off.
So we have to learn how to also not be toxic to ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know, in the things that we do to be a blessing to other people.
Yes.
And that's where some people turn out is victimization, right? So we turn into the victim. The Mary and Martha syndrome, some people call it. You know, so I just why I gotta be the one to do everything. Folks just can't figure out how to do that. Well, let me go over here. I guess I gotta be the one.
But
they're always calling me to do this.
But I don't. I'm the one that runs. But I'm the one that runs over there. If I see something, let me go help so and so. Well, help. Let me go do something.
They don't even have to call you.
They ain't even got to come because they know if something is happening, I'm the person in the family that no matter what, I'm gonna be there, and they know that. The flip side to that is because they know that, people try to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. And so like you said, boundaries, like Maria's saying, know when to turn it off. It's not a bad thing. Nothing is bad in moderation. Right. So any of the things that we're talking about tonight are not terrible. There's sometimes that we do feel sorry for ourselves. But if you live there, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Okay? There's sometimes we do emotionally manipulate. But if that's where you live and that's you all the time, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So like you're saying, but there's a need for that. So what I found when I do that, there's a need that I'm trying to fulfill, right? So part of me likes my name being called. And somebody saying, oh, well, you were there for me. I could always count on you to be there for me. And part of me gets upset when I hear that.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, I put it in motion, right? So you feed the monster. So again, making that decision, when am I going to put some boundaries? I saw you just put in the chat. Absolutely. When am I going to set the boundaries? So then I don't become toxic in those relationships. So now I'm not showing up to do this from my heart.
Right.
Okay. So I have some ill intent. I'm showing up to do this again so I can get the payoff, whatever that is on that particular day. So stop being it. Stop it.
Well, see, my issue is that I do too much from my heart. That's what my husband says.
'Cause you got a big
I don't necessarily feel like I look for a payout. It's just because I love my family, if I see there's a need, I go do what I need to do because they know I have the medical background to help them in that area. And so like when my dad was here, when I was taking care of my dad, he was living with me. And I told my mother and my father, as long as I had breath, they weren't going to be in anybody's nursing home. And I meant that.
Mhm.
I meant every word of that. And my dad never went to a nursing home and he died right here in the house with me. And my mother, you know, she recently had a situation and I was there and she said something that I had never heard her say in all of my 50 plus years of life. And she said, I know now that if something were to happen to me, you'll be the one that I can count on.
Mm.
Be here to help me, which kind of blew me because we hadn't had that kind of relationship that I thought that she knew that to be true. I knew it to be true, but
Mhm.
I never thought she really knew that to be true
That's a blessing.
until then. But
That's a
sometimes it takes, excuse me, my nose running. Sometimes it takes those moments for things to happen for people to
It does.
understand that you're not trying to get nothing that they have. You're doing something from your heart because you love that person, not because of the things that they have or what they think. You know, older people think that way, that you only doing this because you want XYZ when I'm gone.
Right.
And, you know, we had a little blow up and I told her, I don't need what you got. I do what I do because I care about you. My mother, I love you, period. That's the end of the story.
Unconditionally.
So-
Unconditionally.
So that's how I love. I love like that. I don't look for the payout or I don't need you to call me because I'm good at resting, taking care of me.
But I'm saying still, and I'm pushing back, and I'm only gonna push back lightly because we on camera. But I still want you to think about that because there's sometimes that I believe there's probably some no's that need to happen for a lot of reasons. Number one, so you can conserve what you do have when you do need to show up, like for your mother, like you did for your father.
Right.
I don't think you need to show up for everybody that you're showing up for. There's some no's that I guarantee you, if you sit down and think about it, that need to happen. Number two, some of those no's need to happen so you can empower those people in your life to step up and learn to do for themselves. You set the example of what to do. And so you've planted the seed. Sometimes you need to set back so that seed can take root.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And I'm working on that. I'm really working on that.
Not alone.
To step back. I'm really trying to work on that part of me that I know I need to let people grow the hell up. So I'm really working on that. Because
honestly, I mean, haven't you seen that happen with work? And then Regina, you need to come in on this next one because I haven't heard from you yet this evening. But haven't you seen that happen when you've gone on vacation from work? That all of these, you know, urgent emails that came, and when you look at that email thread, when you didn't answer, oh dang, she's out on vacation. They go to the next person or they figure it out themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm saying a lot of times, because we want to be diligent. We want to be professional. We want to be, and we operate. We're good at what we do.
Right.
There's no question about the skill level that you bring to that space. Like I said, as a health professional, life experience, all of that. But sometimes if we just press pause, sometimes just to sit back and see, let me see what will happen. Let me see, have I trained and supported these people in a way that they could do this? And then maybe I can assist instead of lead. And I said, I'm preaching to the choir. I did it the other day, Sunday, in the chat on our church service. And somebody came into the chat and said that they want to give up and they needed somebody to pray. So I sat there and I'm like, now I know it's a minister on duty because I saw them conducting the chat. So I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. And our girls are looking at me like, what's wrong? And I was like, it's somebody saying they about to give up. I got to go do something. Well, isn't it somebody? Yeah, but do I want to be the one? So, one of my big things is if not me, then who?
Right.
And I'm like, I'm trained in mental health first aid and all of these things. So I'm just sitting here and like, I'm cooking while I'm watching church. I'm just sitting there, well, man, let me see what happens. Let me see what somebody else does. So I went on in the room. Let me turn my pots off. Let me go in here and pray with this person. Ended up being an interesting situation, which is another show for another day. But I'm just saying, sometimes we do. Now, right after I came back, I saw that somebody had said they would reach out to her or whatever. But, I'm like, I would have felt bad to find out this woman did something to herself while I was watching church instead of being church.
My Lord, say that again for the people in the back. Say it again for the people in the back.
I'll say it. No, here rewind and you'll hear. So emotionally manipulative, that's a toxic trait. You're always the victim. We touched on that. Everything is about you. Everybody's against you. Nobody understands you. So victim, that's toxic. And I heard Marie talking about that earlier. It's draining. And there might be reasons for this, but again, we're identifying because we already after 8:00. So let me run on through a few more. And you all raise your hand if you want to jump on one. Okay. You only care about yourself. Somebody kind of talked about that. You're a little selfish. Okay, everything is about you. Every conversation, every problem. You don't understand. Why is it all? That's you. You can't stop and say, and this is, I'm telling you, wherever Mike Humphrey is, hey, Mike, he taught me this some 12 years ago, and it's carried me to today. And that is, if we could just, in every relationship, do this triangle, and if we could take that problem and look at that problem over there, there's us. And there's the problem. Or we could be over here in this corner, that's us, there's the problem, and there's God. Whichever way you want to look at it. But we could put the problems over there.
Yeah.
Instead of automatically saying, you're blaming me.
Right.
Right? Oh, so now, so making everything about you is selfishness. It sounds like, you're taking the high road and all of this and but being a victim is being selfish. Being selfish, ignoring somebody else's needs. And Regina, I heard you talking about that earlier. Again, it's all about me. So why are we not happy here? That's why we have tried to diminish that happy life, happy wife. No, it's happy spouse, happy house.
Yes.
That's it.
We need to be both happy up in here.
That's right.
For this to work. So again, there's been some misteaching, right? There's been some misteaching. We got to do some unteaching and some reteaching. Neediness. We see that a lot in the victimization, right? And I'm the victim and in the selfishness, but the neediness. Everybody needs to be at your disposal to help you manage your life. Now, I think we all have moments of this. I know I have. When I have my belt down, let me go to the phone tree. Girl, you never guess what happened. And then this is how I know that I've done it too much, Angelia. When they go, what happened now?
What happened? See.
Well, I was like, well, damn.
Ding, ding,
Tell me
ding.
how you really feel.
Ding, ding.
When I hear that now, I'm like,
did you hurt me?
Okay, I've been ringing your phone too much. Needy. What's the need of that? Some of that is because you pour out so much to other people. This was what I found out in therapy on the couch. I get needy when I've been doing too much for other people. Like you talk about being toxic and ignoring myself. So now I need everybody to show up for me.
Right. Like you showed
carry
up
my load because
like
I've been carrying everybody else. Now I could stand that and use that as an excuse, or like Valencia so eloquently put it earlier, I can figure out how to stick a fork in it and say, let me fix this.
Right.
Okay. But that neediness, just, oh God, the desperate need for external affirmation. I just need somebody to see me. I just need somebody to tell me I'm okay, that they love me, that I'm just the best. Yes. I need something from whatever y'all getting, I need some of it. Absolutely. Please bring some. If you all are watching, yes. My answer is yes. You know what mama likes. Okay. Selfishness and victimization. Yeah, that neediness, I call it victimization on steroids. It's like a whole nother level. And those folks are hard to carry. Those are the people that when I see their number, and I don't have too many of them come up. Oh, your husband like that one, Angelia. When I say happy spouse, happy house, hit Terry Parker in the chat. That brought the brother in the chat. Bring some of your friends. They need to hear this too. I don't man bash in here. I just tell the truth.
Okay.
Amen.
All right, so wherever it lands, the sisters need to step up, step up. If the brothers need to step up, step up. I'm equal opportunity over here. So I'm glad you grabbed hold of that. But those needy people, those are the ones where I watch the number come up on the phone. And like I said, it's not too many of them now. And just wait till it rings.
I can't do that no more.
Just let it ring.
Yep.
Because if I touch the phone, then you're going to call me back. So I just let it ring. You said you don't do it no more. That's why I keep my phone on do not disturb. Honestly. So then I only have to make a decision.
You just rejected.
I don't. I'm not strong. I'm not strong enough yet. I'm gonna admit mine because I'll be like, damn, let me just tell them as soon as I pick up. I only got 5 minutes to talk. You know, it doesn't work. So I let the do not disturb do it. And then when I feel strong, then I make the call. Valencia, what do you do?
I just don't. I don't answer the phone. I look at it like some people give me a headache. Because anybody who gives me a headache because they won't acknowledge. I had a situation with a family member earlier this year, and she just went off on me. And I thought we had gone through. I thought we talked about it because we talked about it to death. I threw her a birthday party, and then she got in front of a bunch of other family members who didn't know me well, and she just went plumb off. And everybody was looking at her like, "What's wrong with you? What'd you do that for?" And I was just like, "Okay, I'm done with this. I can't do. I can't apologize no more. I can't talk this out anymore. I'm not doing it anymore because I asked you what it was. I thought we talked about. I thought we were fine. I'm thinking we're we doing things together, and she was holding things against me like a whole list of things. And I said I can't do this anymore. I said I can't do it anymore. I said you stress me out. You give me a headache, and I take her calls.
You told her.
I tell my children don't say anything about anybody behind their back that you can't say to their face.
That's it.
I know that's right.
It may take me a minute to get my words together so I won't be offensive and so I can say things, in a nice way. But I have to tell people, I have to get that out. I have to tell people what I think and how I feel. I have to get those things out, and we can talk about it. Hopefully we can talk about it. Sometimes it causes problems because people don't like what I say, but I always say it. I'll say it just like I'm talking now. I won't be like, you know what, you get on my nerves and you give me a headache. But I say, you know what, I can't do this. We have to find a better way to communicate because this is stressing me out, and I don't want to be stressed out. And I also want to live in peace. I want to have a peaceful relationship with you. And if I approach them that way and they come at me a different way, I know that there's nothing that I can do. Because I'm not going to go back and forth. I have to protect my well-being, my mental state, because I'm over 50 now. So all kinds of things can stress you out when you let them.
Girl.
And I'm just not. I can't do it no more. So I don't talk to her.
And they'll still be here stirring up trouble. And you be laid up somewhere.
I'll be late. I'll be gone. And I said I'm not going to do that to myself. So this particular person, I take her calls when I look at the phone, but sometimes I look at the phone. I can't do that. I've avoided family events since then because I just don't. I'm not going to do it. And people, where are you? Yeah, when I know I can be calm and I can talk to her whether she apologizes or not. I can go. But until then, I'm not going to be the one to stir the pot. I'll just stay away and mind my own business like I always do. And so that's how I deal with it. That's
good stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes things change. Like with my oldest daughter, she and I like bumping heads, and my middle daughter, I have 4 kids, and we were just bumping heads. And it's been a couple of years, but now we're getting to the point where we can talk, and it's not like you know what, I'm leaving. Like, I sat her down and I said, you can't leave the room every time something upsets you. I said, we have to talk this through. We have to get through this. I need to understand what you're saying. You need to understand what I'm saying. But I need to make it clear to you that my intent is not to harm you or hurt you. I want us to be better. And then she heard me.
You're so grown. You so grown.
Yeah, she heard me, because I can't stand that kind of stuff. Those unspoken things. So I don't like undercurrents, because undercurrents are harmful, and then they cause confusion, and they cause pain, and they cause, and then the cycle repeats again. I don't want to do that. I want my kids to be healthy, and I want them to have healthy in engagements or whatever they choose to do. So I give them the space to do that, even though it gets on my nerves.
She said undercurrents. Isn't she teaching?
Yeah, you walk into a room and somebody doesn't like you because of something you said or whatever, or don't even know what it is. And you ask them and they won't say anything, but they're telling everybody else, no, I'm going to tell you what I didn't like about whatever it is.
Right.
That's it. And then we talk about the beginning, packing light. You don't have nothing to carry when you put it on the table. Put the problem where it is. Put the problem where it is. I'm not carrying that. Like you said, that the only work that you've done is you said, I'm going to choose my words and my tone. Yeah. But other than that, when I've said what I've said.
Because I really do want to get along with them. I really, really do. But I can't get along with you if I say I'm sorry and I apologize 25 times and I try to change my behavior and to help you to understand that I hear you and I care, but you're not doing the same thing for me.
Exactly.
I don't get the same thing.
There's some energy where it's not well invested. That's what you're saying.
I can't keep engaging with you. You're not going to keep punching me. You're not going to keep doing that. I'm not. So I have to.
Yeah.
Where is she? I don't know where she is. I haven't seen her in a while. I haven't seen her. And you won't. And you won't.
She's gonna have to be grown to deal with you.
Right.
That's kind of what we were talking about on the holiday show last week. I said those boundaries. It's like I may decide I'm gonna show up, but I gotta show up like this. Here's my motto. Now I came up with my hashtag for my 55th year, and my hashtag was cruise control. Right. I said this is what I'm doing. It's me and God. I'm just gonna wake up. We just gonna go. Okay. But here's the one that came to me yesterday. I said, I'm walking into 2023 unapologetically peaceful. And that's what you just described. Boom.
That's it. That's
what you just described.
That's it.
You're gonna shovel this shit on me. I'm bringing it back. Now you can take it. You can bake bread with it. You can put it in your garden. But I'm giving it back to you. And I'm walking, I ain't apologizing for it.
Dr. Kim.
Not vengeful, not hurtful, like you're saying. Because at the end of the day, I want to be okay with everybody. I don't tiptoe no more. I walk on eggshells. Ain't nowhere I can walk. I'm not looking over my shoulder. Oh, damn, they here. 10 toes down, walking in the door. No apologies. If you got a problem with me, that's you.
That's your problem.
Like you just said, you know what this is. Because I've said it. I didn't tell Takara that dang on Valencia. She got me blue. Valencia, no. When you do that, that ain't cool. And Valencia said, Kim, you on the money because when you do that, that irks my soul. Sis. And
that accountability.
We really said, we're going to sit there, even though that hurts me, I'm going to take it and say, you know what, sis? Would you pray for me?
Yeah.
I'm going to hug you and say, you know what? I didn't even know I was ugly like that. But I'm gonna try to show her better. I didn't even know I was hurting you like that.
Right.
Yep.
But I go tell Angelia, I go tell Marie, I go tell Regina. Then every time we show up there, hey sis.
Right.
And they sit back to see how long it's gonna take before they dig into each other.
Exactly.
Families do it. Somebody walk in. Oh, it's about to get real now.
Well, Dr. Kim, I'm gonna tell you.
It's up there. Did you see when she went up to get the potato salad? Did you say, she bumped against her chair? Yo, she act like she not just mess, heaviness, unapologetically peaceful.
And the thing is,
that's up to you how you process it, but I'm sure deliver it up and serve it to you.
Yeah.
Dr. Kim, I'll add to your by saying if you did come to me and say something about Valencia, then I'm gonna say, did you talk to Valencia?
That's
Well,
maturity
then
though,
you can't
Marie.
talk to me.
That's
As
maturity.
a matter of fact, let's get Valencia on the phone.
Right. That
So
part.
you can tell her
right
your.
there.
That part. Let's do the three-way.
So I'm gonna
call.
shut it down. And it looks like I ain't trying to
Girl,
say nothing. But
That's
how
mature women
I love
do.
y'all. This is a
Listen,
nice panel. I
let's get
got
on
60
Zoom.
years on
Let me
this
see
planet.
faces.
I want to see your face.
I want
Right.
to see your face. Let's do a Zoom. Can we do a
It's
FaceTime?
Shirley.
Google Duo. What we need to do? What we need?
Yeah, that's it. That's what we ain't
Shut
playing.
it down.
We gonna shut it down.
There's a
Shut
We're
it
way.
not gonna
down.
have
Yep.
this tomfoolery.
That's why
going
people
on.
don't bring stuff to me. I don't go along with that. And they know
And,
it.
that's-
and even
and
if
that's
you
the
do
thing.
bring
They
it,
don't, they know it.
We
Don't
gonna
bring
squash
Angelia that
it.
stuff because she about to bring everybody to the table.
right, we're
Yep.
gonna squash it.
We
We're
not
gonna
dealing with
talk
that.
like grown women. We're
Yeah.
gonna go on, and if I gotta be a mediator, hold up
But
now.
like I said, but that's the first question. Have you talked to her? And if not,
Yeah,
then
have you
that's
talked
the
to her?
that's the
Why
con.
haven't you?
Right.
Yep. And
Why you
I'm saying
coming to
people
me?
do it with their children. That's why I said this is not just romantic partners. It's not just platonic friendships. I've seen it in families. I've seen people do it with their kids, and then they wonder why the kids won't talk to them. Because when they show up places, people know things about them they should not
They
know.
should not
Uh-huh.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've reached intimacy in the family,
Yep.
not hiding secrets. Because we know a lot of us were taught that, right? What happens in the house stays in the house. But I'm saying intimate pieces of that relationship between you and your children, you and your partner, you and
Right.
your friend. People should not know
That's right. That's right.
because you're putting the emphasis and the conversation in places that really is counterproductive,
Yeah.
right? And that shouldn't happen. We had a lot of people come in the room since I said hello last. Hey, Bettina. Hey, Liz, Dr. Liz, all the way in Virginia. Hey, girl. Mr. Parker, we always say hello to you. Miss Janetta still hanging, and Emma. If you haven't already shared the link, please do so. Share it, because it's getting good. I've learned so much already. We're just about done. But before we wrap up, please share, invite somebody else, pull up a chair. I'm almost done with the Moscato, and I think they bring in a fish sandwich. It's kind of late to eat. Now I realized I haven't eaten. That's why I haven't eaten
That's
today.
self-care. That's self-care.
Right, I had my latte because I can't go a day without my green tea latte, but that's all I've had. They're like, you need to eat something. Okay. So Needy, what about people who don't support anybody else?
Mm.
How toxic is that?
Very,
And some of that's linked to jealousy.
very.
I've experienced a lot of that this year. Now you invite them, but they never invite you. Right? Or they'll invite you to certain things. And it's always an excuse why they can't come, why they can't support, why they can't do. Takara, I know you felt that one in your pinky toe, right?
A big toe.
And I mean, honestly, and it's like at first you go, it's circumstantial, and then you see a pattern. Now, some of that, again, goes back to what we were talking about a moment ago, and that is not just discernment, but making some choices about, like I said, who's even ringing your phone. It's some people we shouldn't even be looking for the invitation anymore because you already know.
Yep.
Right? Make the decision. But again, sometimes we live and look at this. This should go calling me again. They always invite me to stuff, but they'll never show up to my stuff. I got tired of having that conversation with Kim. Why you keep inviting them if you know that's what the deal is?
Mm-hmm.
What's the payoff for you? You just like to hear yourself fuss, unapologetically peaceful. If it's us four and no more, then it's gonna be us four and no more.
And no more.
And it's gonna be a good day.
Period.
A real good day. You know what? Sometimes I saw this post that somebody put on their page, and it said, sometimes God moves people out of your life for a reason. Stop going back and picking them up.
Yes,
And we do.
we do all the time.
And we do that all the time.
Broken bar
know,
syndrome.
but-
You give people 100, what it say, not just the benefit of the doubt, but 1,001 chances.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's only so many bullets in a gun. My God. How many times you gonna
Yeah.
let somebody just load up and keep shooting?
No, that's the
I mean,
truth.
serious, you keep giving them the bullets. They done showed you.
But
Okay,
you
I
know,
don't
over and
like
over.
you.
They tell us to
Over
turn
and
the
over.
other cheek and 70 times 7 to forgive and turn the other cheek. And
I don't do that. I don't do that kind of math no more. Look, I used to teach
flip over the
preschool.
table,
You
so I
got
took
3
that
times
too.
for me.
You know what? People show you who they are. Maya Angelou said it right.
The
People
first
show you
time.
who they are. And when they
We can
do,
all
believe
count to
them.
one.
Believe
I-
them. They know themselves better than you.
And then
Believe
they
them.
try to
If they
change.
show you that they jerks, know this. They jerks.
Believe it. Believe it. And
Right.
certifiable.
So now the
professional.
question is, do you want a jerk in your life or do you want
Apparently.
peace in your life?
Right, do you
You
want
can't
somebody to
have
give you a
both.
headache or because they'll
So
give you
you
a
have,
headache in a minute.
again, that goes back to self-actualization. You have to make a decision what you want in your life. What kind of person are you? Because that determines the kind of people that you're going to be around.
Absolutely.
That right there.
So it goes
Absolutely.
back to
All
you.
day-
Everything
all
goes
day
back
long.
to you.
All day
So
long. So here's hold on. Station identification break. So if you don't know who you are and you're trying to figure it out, I am hosting a personal mission statement workshop on January the 7th. You need to sit down with me and figure out who you are and
okay.
what you stand for as the CEO of your life. She's saying these are things that you need to know up front. Then you make better decisions.
That's
Just
right.
like any business does. They go, what? Oh, we carry this, we produce this. So when somebody brings an idea to them, oh no, we don't do that kind of work. You might want to go down the street and contact us. So as the CEO of your life, you need to know this is what I stand for. Valencia just said that's strong. Some stuff I just don't entertain anymore. So hey,
It's
when that comes,
okay.
hey, this is the flow chart of how we deal with this. So thank you for sharing. I don't deal in that. So so now
I know
here's the
who
flow chart.
does.
You can do
Let me
this or
tell
you
you
can do
who
that.
does.
But both of those is pointing the hell away from me. Okay.
That part.
So
That part.
there it is. Okay.
But you-
January 7th. Inbox me. I send you the Zoom link. It's $50. Get your life right. Beginning of the year. Okay, my PSA is over.
But you know what? Some people, they have a part when they make those decisions, then they're concerned about how other people are going to now view them. And then they have concerns. Well, was that really the right decision? Because now
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z don't like me. And that's, again, that goes back to you. You have to
Yeah.
make a decision for you. If somebody else don't like it, that's not your problem. That's theirs. That's their problem. And we
You
so
gotta know-
busy
you gotta
picking up
know.
other people's problems that we don't take care enough of ourselves.
But
Be
you-
okay with
Yep.
your
Be
decision.
okay.
Those who love you are going to love you
Right.
regardless.
Yeah.
Those who are not, that all that's going to do is weed away the dead weight of your life.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
somebody can't support your new decisions, then they're not the people you need to be around in the first place.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And
Now,
guess what?
And
If
you
you
have to be okay with that.
You
have
gotta
to
be okay
with
with that. If you got a season of flying solo, baby, enjoy it. Let me tell you what I learned real. It is real.
Real.
It's real.
Okay.
I was getting ready to fly. Southwest, your first 2 bags are free.
Right.
Yep. Oh, come on. I felt that.
Your
God.
first 2 bags are
Here it
free.
come.
So I don't know how to pack. So if anyone is teaching classes on how to pack
I can
for
hold
a
you.
trip, yeah, I'm all the time, twice on Sunday. I'm your girl. I fail it. I'm horrible. Anyway, so they weigh in my stuff. Well, your bag can only be 50 pounds. Well, your girl was 53 points and change. So here they go giving me this ugly Southwest bag that I had to pay $25 for, that I knew I would never use again because it was ugly. It wasn't Coach. It wasn't Dooney and Burke. So I really don't want it.
It was ugly.
It was ugly. Okay. And God said to me right there, he said, I want you to understand the power of carrying baggage.
Listen.
And I said, okay, God. He said, you can't soar if you're carrying more than capacity. And I said,
Come on.
okay, God.
Now you about to make me throw this computer.
Listen, I not listen to the story. Now I had to pay the funky $25 for this ugly bag that I didn't want to only carry
You still gotta add
3.5
to it.
pounds of stuff, and I'm over the. I was hot, but the lesson is that I learned that I can't be carrying somebody else's stuff, and it costs me
Right.
from
And
getting
it's
to my
ugly. And
destination.
it's ugly.
And it's ugly.
And it's ugly.
And it's ugly. And so
It don't do ugly up in here.
if it ain't
But
coached
isn't it
or
ugly?
doing,
But
I don't
isn't it
want
ugly when you're carrying stuff?
That's it.
Because your whole attitude is ugly, your countenance is
And
ugly. 'cause
It's
I was
heavy.
mad.
It's
I was
irritating.
mad. Then I was mad because I like my luggage. I carry on my luggage for a reason because I don't want them to be throwing my luggage because they having a bad day and break my stuff. You know, because they just throw your stuff.
Yeah.
So I was mad, but God showed me that lesson, and it's something that I use all the time when I'm talking to my
Yep.
people, because the one thing that you don't want to do is miss the connecting flight because of some baggage.
Girl,
Come on.
you better preach. You better preach, preacher.
Ooh, I gotta play my
Come
Listen,
on, see.
So for those of you who are not trying, 'cause I don't like that word, working to get your life together,
Yes.
it's time to inspect yourself for real, for real.
Woo.
You don't want to be late to the destination carrying something that's old and funky that you don't even need anyways.
Right.
Yes.
The doors of that there church is not open.
Yes,
He
Diva.
said, miss the connection.
Where do we
Like, what we
send
doing?
your offering?
You know what?
I
My-
love it. I love you.
Hold on, we done woke
yes.
Regina up. Come on in here, Regina.
Yeah,
What you
I'm
got to say?
woke. I'm trying to wake up, but you know, my godmother, the late great gospel recording artist Ethel Holloway, she once told me, I was going through some things, and she once told me, in order to grow, you have to let go.
Yeah.
And that means everything that's in your life that is hindering you from having that closer relationship with God, and even that relationship with yourself, whether it's a family member, whether it's a coworker, whether it's somebody very close to you. And if they're bringing stress into your life, you got to let it go. Because only thing it's going to do, it's going to eat like a cancer, and it's going to make you sick, and it's not unhealthy. It's not healthy. And that's part of those toxic traits we're talking about, those traits that can harm us as an individual and as a partner in a relationship with our significant others. We can't hold on to that stuff. We got to let that go. And sometimes it takes a lot of prayer, because we may not do it. And like I ask God always, when I have to go before somebody, even with my pastor, I say, Lord, go before me so that he may be able to receive what I'm about to say to him. Because you have to do it in the right spirit. And I sing this song, I lead this song at church, Order My Steps. And I find myself lately having to ask God to order my tongue, because it can be toxic.
That's right.
My tongue can be very toxic, especially when someone has made me angry or somebody's doing things that I think they shouldn't be doing. So we have to always ask God to order every step that we make, because what we do is a reflection on the God in us. Ooh. And like I was telling my cousin today, when he was talking about the church and all that, I said, we are the church. The place where we go to worship is a temple. So everywhere we go, we take our church with us. So that's why we have to let our light so shine so that others may see our good works and glorify God who's in heaven. We can't worry about other people and what they're doing and what they're not doing. We have to worry about ourselves. And I'm my own worst enemy, as I said before. I always put others before me. I always do things for others. And then when I need somebody to do something for me, there's nobody there. And that really makes me angry too, whether it's at church, whether it's my family or whatever, because when I need someone to give me, there's no one there to give me, but I'm always giving everybody else. But to God be the glory, because he gets all of my strength. He's my help. He's my provider. He's everything that I need. So I can't look to others for what I need, because God is all I need. And if we be faithful over the little things he'll give us, he'll make us ruler over many. So to me, that's saying, I will give you what you need, but if you faithful over your needs, I also give you what you want.
That's it. That's it. But here's the thing. Sometimes we teach people how to treat us, honestly. I think most of the time we teach people how to treat us. And when I found myself there, what you're describing, that when I have a need, first of all, already struggling with asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Already struggling with that. But then when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lay my pride down and ask for help, and then it's crickets.
Right.
You've shown everybody that you don't need them, right? That you have all the answers to do it. And some of it is people just expecting you to be strong. So I get that too. But if we're never vulnerable and share, then I have some times where I doubt. I have some times where I'm weak. I have some times where I need support. We've shown people we don't need them. And then by not asking. And then, like I was saying to Angelia earlier, if we keep the S on our chest and we show up, as soon as somebody says something, why would they ever think that
right? That superwoman syndrome.
24-hour help desk. And I've seen it come up in my memory so much where I'm like, I remember wilding out probably around 2015, 2016. Newsflash, I'm not a 24-hour help desk. Well, that's what made me start going to the Do Not Disturb. Because if any other business is closed.
That's right.
After 10, why would I not?
That's right.
And so who has access to me after business hours? My children and my parents.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I was that person again. You call me in the midnight hour, I'll pray with you.
Oh,
you call me in the midnight hour, I'll come get you upside the expressway. Like I'm roadside assistance. You come in the midnight hour. That's me. But that was me. They didn't want to get mad. Nobody want to come see about me.
Yeah.
I said every December for about 4 years, I had major surgeries. Every year. And I was like, it was my kids. It was my mom. I said, did nobody miss me at the church? And calls. And it was a point. It was a point in my ministry. And anybody watching know this true. I see you, Maria, I'm coming. That my name and number was on the program of my church. So that's how integral I was in the ministry. I can tell you about how many people called.
Okay.
Hit by a car, knee destroyed, all of that. I had a couple people that called. 1 or 2 people that came by the whole 9 months that I was in recovery. And I said, I'm at the church 5-6 days a week, every week.
Yeah.
Not on salary, serving.
Yeah.
Serving. I done prayed out of hospitals, I done prayed out of courtrooms, I done prayed out of this. But I taught them how to treat me.
Yeah.
And I know pastors feel that way too. So again, I'm not saying I got a lock on any of that. There's some ungratefulness, no doubt.
Yes.
But a lot of times we position ourselves for that abuse. To be perfectly honest. Marie, what you got? And then I got a few more. And
I'll be real brief. But just in listening to that, I was going to say my toxic trait, one of many. Well, one was always wanting to be in control and not wanting to be dependent upon anybody for anything. So God, nope, I could do it. Nope, I ain't got to ask. Nope, I don't want to be beholden to nobody. Nope, I don't mind helping people, but nope, you're not going to come at me or have nothing to say about, I helped Marie with this, until he laid me on my back and my lung collapsed in 2003. And he said, when you pray to me, my answer is going to come through people. They may be people who belong to my body, or they may be people who don't. I will send my answer through people, for you are not a Lone Ranger Christian, but a member of a body. The hand can't tell the foot, I don't need you. The toe can't tell the finger, I don't need you.
Ooh,
You are going to lay here until you get the message.
my
My
Lord.
tray, I had a chest tube on my left side, an IV, I'm in pain, and my tray table was in the mid part of my legs, below my knee. They bought my breakfast tray. The lady didn't pull the tray up, didn't set me up, didn't do anything. She left it and left. And I said, God, why you put me like this? Because I can reach for it, but I was afraid to, figuring out would dislodge the chest tube or pull out the IV. So I'm just saying, can somebody please help me? I can't even reach the call light. I'm in Cook County Hospital on the ward where the rooms look like cubicles with a curtain for a door.
Jesus.
Then I hear these squiggly little wheels coming, and this lady is scooting with her IV, barely can walk. She said, I hate when they do that. Here, I help you. I said, Lord, I said for some help. This what you sent me. She pushed the tray just to my knees, turned around and walked out. And I said, really? That's how we rolling? I still can't reach the tray. And he said, if she brought it all the way to you, you stop asking. I'm not going to give you everything all at once, because you're going to recognize that I am the Lord thy God. And you'll keep asking me, and I'll keep putting you in a position till you keep asking me, until you humble yourself and recognize that you are not walking this thing by yourself. I would even use your enemies to bless you. I'll use your friends to bless you. I'll use those that curse you to bless you. But who are you to tell me my business and what I do? Ooh. Finally, the nurse came. He said, Miss Wilson, I'm so sorry. I said, do you need it? Yes, yes, yes. And ever since then, and whenever I pray, if it ain't in me, I ask people, do you get my gift? Do you get my stuff? You've been blessed with something extra that wasn't yours. I've been battling this disease, sarcoidosis, since 1996. I made it to 60 years. Why? Because there are people that I know and people I don't know. They washed my butt. They took care of my kids. They cleaned my house.
Lord.
They washed my clothes. They paid my bills.
My
they
Lord.
did everything for me. And I am here, not only because the prayers of the righteous availeth much, but because I look for God and I bless him for whoever he uses to bless me.
My Lord, my Lord. My Lord. She said Lone Ranger Christian. My Lord.
That's what she said. I'm still stuck there too.
Woo, honey, I had to write that down. You ain't no Lone Ranger Christian.
Lone Ranger. But like you said, that's how we operate inside and out of the church, right? It's just me. It's all about me. Don't nobody help me. Right? They don't understand me. Ain't nobody understand what this feels like. So we shut everybody out, and then we're mad about it. Humility.
When they ain't there.
That's pride. Like you said, that's pride. Pride goes before the fall.
Man.
Doesn't it?
Ooh.
Doesn't it? So I said that humility has to be in place. Has to be in place. That's good stuff. Y'all took me places I ain't even want the Lone Ranger. I can't find it. Okay, so now the offering going her way. You got an offering going across the screen. I'm gonna get one eventually. But look, so this so let me get through the rest of these toxics, and then I promise
I'm trying my best.
I would talk about how to get better. And you all have already given a lot of suggestions, right? First of all, like your self-awareness, talking it out. We definitely know I'm an advocate for therapy and counseling, all of that. But envy and jealousy is probably one that comes up a lot, right? Across relationships, within relationships, I'm jealous of you, I'm envious. Sometimes people are not even envious of what you have.
Yes.
What you do, but they're envious of how people love you.
Yes.
Yep.
They're envious about how people feel about you.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So it's just that when your name comes up, and I was told this, I can't even tell in what context, because I don't want to destroy some things, but I was told by a couple of people, your name comes up so much in your absence.
Wow.
That's why that person can't deal with you. And it's like, what? Now I no control over that. And it's like your name comes up so much in a positive. It's like, oh, well, Dr. Kim, Dr.
Right.
Kim, Dr. And the smiles and the love, it's like second hearing that helps. Right.
Right.
And I found I was like, because I'm like, what did I do to this person? Like, honestly, I have tried my best to befriend this person because this was somebody in a very, as an influential position, right? In the organization that I was in. I was like, well, I need to be able to have some type of, and the person just couldn't stand me. And finally it took two people that were like, because every time your name come up, you make their ass itch. They tired of hearing your name. So
No, it's not they tired of hearing your name. They don't like the essence of who you are, because oftentimes they wish they could be.
That's why I was saying that. That's what I was saying. That's what it is.
They wish they could be what you are, and they're not, and they don't know how to do it. And so they resent the fact that you are what they can't become.
I've seen it in relationships as well, which is real ugly. That you'll have one partner that hates that. Wow, that when we show up, everybody's so glad to see you, and I'm just kind of here in the shadow.
Right. Some people
Jealousy.
don't like the shine that's on you.
Something your career is advancing quicker than mine.
Yeah.
Are we together? Are we supposed to be together? I'll never forget. And if he's watching, it's true. My ex-husband, terrible with this, right? All this competition. Why are we competing? We have the same last name.
Right.
I'll never forget when he finally made more money than me. And this is like maybe 3 or 4 years in our marriage. And he was like, and I was like, what? And he's like, I got a raise. That's wonderful. And he was like, yep. So where are you at now?
Wow.
And I told him,
so instead of being a partner, you was his competition.
You do the taxes. I mean, And he was like, yep. And how many years of school? How many years you been in school? I mean, was trying to make a total fool out of me. I'd have doubled your salary. Okay. And I don't have half the education that you have.
Wow.
Okay, let's all give you a round of applause.
Right.
But are we a team? Where's the team? So competition within marriages, a lot of people think that that's just with celebrities, they broke up because she got all the movie contracts and he didn't, or he got, all these movies and she didn't. Who was the football player? Him and his wife just broke up.
Oh, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady
and Giselle, but she was a millionaire before she met him.
I know, but look at that. It's when she gave up everything.
She did for him.
And it's like, okay, so when you ever gonna sit down and
let's be a family?
Us do this,
right?
It obviously never. So that doesn't just happen with celebrities. That happens on the ground. People just envious, but it's something missing in you. For you to feel like there should be competition between us, because if I'm better, you're better, right? We're better.
Right. We build each other up. Right. We complement each other. We work together. But, so we can both be better. We can all be better.
Right.
Competition. Dishonesty is one. That's toxicity. You've seen people just lie about everything.
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 And comfortable lying. Just lie.
And then when you catch them in the lie, they get another lie on top of that lie.
Yes, I was about to say, or they try to make you think you crazy.
Right.
I know you're lying.
Exactly.
My girl, a friend of mine, marriage broke up for that very reason. She said everything came out of his mouth just started to be a straight lie, and she couldn't deal with it no more. Their marriage broke up.
Lie about everything. Where you are, what you do, how you spend your money, what you know, what you don't know.
Right.
Who you know, who you don't know, just lies.
Just everything.
Lies all the way around.
Everything was a lie that came out of his mouth after a while. She said, I can't do it no more.
Because I said, how can I trust you? Patterns of disrespect, both direct and indirect. So what does that look like? People who are chronically late. That kind of goes back to the support I was talking about earlier. You saying that people just always late to your stuff? Disrespectful. Oh, I forgot. You sure did have something going on today. My bad. I sure forgot about that. Disrespect. Crossing boundaries. Oh gosh, I've had a bunch of those. You tell somebody, just like Valencia, like you were saying earlier, if I'm telling you this is something that's not good for us to get along, and then you continually do that, that's disrespect. That wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
You meant that. And so
Yeah.
now I have to limit my access to you because you're disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I love myself better than that. I respect myself better than that. Negative financial behaviors within a relationship, that's toxic. And I was thinking, that's been a tough one. Folks who, now this is my caveat again, that this was me in my 30s. All right, I was a bad overspender. And that was one of the things that broke us up. I was bad. My wallet. Okay, wasn't good. Okay. And so that's hard. But a lot of behaviors, there's a reason behind every behavior.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
one thing that I felt affirmed in my relationship, that I kept things nice. My kids always look good. The house looked good. So I know that you'll eventually get over the fact that I was transferring money from here to there to make that happen. Because everything is beautiful.
Right.
You know? And every time somebody comes, oh, y'all had the most beautiful home. And it's like, see, told you was going to appreciate those pillows. Even though I got 12 pillows on the couch and that has 16 and you ain't understand. But now everybody talk about how beautiful our home was. But negative finance, or people who hide. And I know I see a lot of jokes about that on social media. That's bad stuff. That's toxic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy the stuff. I know we can't afford it, and then I'm gonna hide it. So you see,
Yeah, that's the
I
thing,
see
not
you-
being
I
able
see
to
you
afford
do
it. Yeah.
too. Yeah, and no, we can't afford it. Or we said, maybe we've said we'll get that at a certain time. You know, we need to wait, right? Delayed gratification. So we need to wait on that. Let's take care of this and then do that. And you go, but I want it now. Right?
Mhm.
Or well, it was on sale. So I went on and got it. I just thought I would surprise you. No, you're not surprising me. We said we're not going to do that.
Right.
So there's no way in that. So that's very, very toxic, very toxic. Or spending selfishly. Ooh, I don't even want to get into that. That one almost drove me to tears. I remember being in a relationship like that where I'm walking around with holes in my shoes and you got designer coats on.
Ooh.
Really do it because I wasn't working. So he thought, well, he's supposed to still stay fine. What you need clothes for, you ain't going nowhere. Whole nother story for another day. But I know,
The devil?
spending selfishly. Constant stress, we already talked about. What about cutting off your other relationships? Controlling. Have you seen that happen? That's toxic.
Oh, yes.
I don't want you to have no friends. I don't even want you to have your family. It's just me. I'm the only person you're supposed to care about. I'm the only person you're supposed to cater to. I'm the only person you're supposed to love. I'm the only person you're supposed to spend any time with. Cut everybody off. Toxic. So why would somebody do that? What is that about? Besides being controlling, why would somebody just want to annex
Insecure.
your whole social life?
Insecurity.
Narcissist for sure.
So that
Textbook
you only
narcissist.
depend on them. Yeah.
So you
Insecurity.
only depend on them. Yep. Total insecurity as well. Right.
Mhm.
So I don't want to have to share the space with anybody.
Yeah. You know, my sister was in a relationship like that, to the point where even when my father passed and I had to go to Niagara Falls, and all of my other sisters and brothers was there, and her boyfriend told her that she couldn't even come to her own father's funeral. And she didn't. And she didn't. And then about 4 years later, my grandmother passed. I had to go back to Niagara Falls again. And she couldn't even come to my grandmother's funeral. And everybody was just so angry with her because of that. But she told him, well, he paying the bills, he's taking care of me, so I can't come. If he said I can't come, I can't come. And you should have known, especially what I told her. It's some words I gave her, but I won't repeat them. But yeah.
She needed intervention.
Yeah.
She needed intervention
honestly,
straight up.
That was horrible.
She needed intervention.
I had never, whew,
And
nothing
can't
like that
nobody
in
keep
my
me
life.
from my daddy's funeral. Are you kidding me?
My daddy's funeral? Oh, yeah.
He'd have been
Oh,
cut.
yeah.
I'm sorry to the white meat. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm going to my daddy's funeral. I'm going to my grandma's funeral, my cousin's
Exactly.
funeral, my sister, my friend.
And anybody
gonna
else
get
that I
over
want to
it.
go to.
Whoever, like
You
said,
do not
whoever.
own me. You don't tell me where I can and where I can't go, especially when it comes to my family.
What
I
kind of
refuse
tomfoolery
to
is
let
that?
you have that much control over me. I will cut you first.
To the white meat.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
To the white meat.
see,
To the white meat.
we hit a nerve. And you
Yes.
said, and everybody has, like you said, those boundaries. And for you, like you said, that's our family. Sometimes,
Yeah.
again,
Devil.
I couldn't believe it.
beginning of our conversation, sometimes it's your family, particularly your kids, that'll wake you up to a lot of things. So, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, with her, you would be hoping. Now, you kept me from a lot of things. But
Yes. Yes. I
this-
draw a line there.
oh my God! And that,
I
and like
draw
I
the
said, that was
line.
not a wake up call. That's scary.
It is
That's
scary.
real scary.
It
That
is
is-
scary.
that's
She
real.
finally got away from him,
Bless
but
her
they had to
heart.
hide her out in order to do that. They had to
Oh,
hide her
yeah.
out. Mhm.
I believe it.
Somebody's that controlling, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I believe
It's
it.
got to be an exit plan.
Yes.
That's
believe
definitely abuse. That's definitely.
Can I tell you, I had a situation like that with my first quote unquote true love when I was 18. And things started going left. I thank God for my mother because she instilled some stuff in us. But when the language started to change in that relationship, he made a comment that if we ever broke up, if I can't have you, can't nobody have.
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's a dangerous one, right?
And I was
there.
like, oh yeah, no, that don't sound good. I said to myself. So then when we were not next to each other, I told him, I said, listen, I don't think this relationship is healthy anymore for me. And, I think we would do better to see other people. And I don't, I just want to break up with you. I don't think it's going to work. And he was like, what do you mean? He started snapping out. I just hung the phone up. And he knew that I went to college. I was at Olive Harvey. And I happened to be taking a karate class. And this how crazy he was.
Uh-oh.
He came to the karate class door, stepped into my class, and asked, could he speak to me? Now, what he didn't know is that before the class, I had told my sensei, I said, they were surprised to see me because they hadn't seen me in a while. And my ex was a second-degree black belt. And I said, I need to freshen up on my skills because, I just broke up with my guy, boo woo. He was like, okay, no worries. Then, sure enough, he showed up. Okay. And he wanted to talk to me. So now here come the whole class. You ain't got to talk to him if you don't want to. I said, no, I'm going to talk to him. We're in school. I'm thinking I'm safe because we're in school. All the security is around. I'm thinking that we were safe. And we go upstairs to talk. I don't know if you ever been to Olive Harvey. They have downstairs a dance studio, and that's where the karate class was. And upstairs, they were doing registration. Security was outside. I thought I was safe. I go upstairs, we're talking, where's security? Ain't no security to be found. They took a break on registration. Nobody was there. And I'm sitting on the table and he's talking. I want to get back, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I just don't think this is going to work. And, it's just not going to work anymore for me, and I tried to get up to leave. This fool threw me over his shoulder and went running down the hall to try to kidnap me out of the school. This is a true story. God knows I'm telling the truth. He had his cousin in the car with the motor running. And because it took me so long to come back downstairs, the class had come up looking for me. And they literally were chasing him down the hall. And I was on his shoulder. And they caught up with him. He put me down and then took off and ran out the door. I look out the door. His cousin was in the car with the motor running. And then they pulled off. So I had to make an exit plan because of course I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
And so that's when I left Chicago and I went away to college to Dillard. I had to tell everybody, don't tell them where I'm at. Don't tell them I moved. Don't tell them nothing. Because he came to my mother's house. He came out of my neighborhood. He started talking to friends, see where I was at. So when crazy show you crazy, you have to, if you love yourself enough, you let them make a decision to make you an exit plan and to get out. And I had to be gone for a while before he calmed down enough to not keep coming around my family's house. But I was gone for like 2 years.
Wow.
So we have,
But here's the
you have
thing,
to
you
love
sound
yourself
like
enough to
not
do
only making
that.
a decision, but you needed support. You needed support to do that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And but I didn't
can't
tell my mother what happened, and I didn't tell my dad because my dad and my uncle were crazy. They probably would have went to try to kill him, and then I had to worry about them going to jail for that food, and I didn't want that. So I just went away to school.
That's real.
And that's the God's honest truth. Because I know my dad and I know my uncle. My uncle just be looking for somebody
Okay.
to go shoot. He didn't care. But,
That would not have
but
gone well
again,
at all.
but again, back to those toxic, but that was a toxic relationship.
Yes,
Anybody tell you
very
stuff like
toxic.
that? That's that
Very
controlling. Don't
toxic,
want nobody
yes.
around you. And it was all kind of stuff I just found out about. He beat up people that he thought I was talking to. It just all kind of stuff came. So I was like, Jesus, help me up out of this. You ain't gotta worry about me no more. And that was the icing on the
That's
cake.
not flattering at all.
So
At all.
toxicity can also be deadly if you
It's
don't be
real.
careful.
That's abusive and deadly. Oh, it's been so much of that in the news recently, right?
Yeah.
People just,
Mhm.
oh, you're not answering the phone. I'm gonna come to where you are. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about answering no phone. I'm gonna kill you and the person I thought you were talking to.
I
the
thought
person
you,
that were-
yeah,
just crazy.
yeah.
Killing people and their children.
And
this
their
is-
children.
Oh, yes.
So I want to say two things. It takes, first of all, for you to take it seriously. All of these things that we're talking about tonight, honestly, if you see these behaviors in yourself, as well as others, you got to take it seriously. Untapped and unmanaged, okay? It causes big problems. That's number one. Number two, you need support, right? I see a lot of people being judgmental when they see people in situations like that. Domestic violence is not a joke, and it is not an easy solution.
No,
Why don't
it's
she just leave?
not.
Right,
Why
it's
don't you
not
just leave?
just leave, yeah.
It ain't like she ain't got money. It ain't like she ain't got nobody. If you haven't been, be quiet. Now, if you were able to get out,
Yes.
if you're able to get out as soon as you figured it out, great for you. It is not
Their own
that
story.
simple.
No.
Because I said there is mind control, there is safety, there is, like I said, people not believing you. I've seen that happen where people will tell their family, and it's
not
like
that
that
bad.
man just crazy about you.
He paid a
Y'all just
bill.
need to
Yes.
sit down and talk. I just
Better
told you
keep
this
that
man
good
is actually
man.
threatening my safety, right? And you think, oh, he's just having a temper tantrum. No, this is real.
Very
So
true.
there's people that on the surface it look like they would have that support, that don't have that support. And again, I always want to flip it. I have seen men, got some people I know now who are dealing with similar situations. Wife is
Yes.
physically abusive,
Yeah.
emotionally abusive. Okay.
Yeah.
And he'll cry for help. And then guess what? You look up and he's right back there again. And you're like,
Yep.
until you're sick and tired until you can
Yep.
sit down with somebody and say, we will help you escape
Yep.
to the point that you are protected.
Right.
And hopefully you make the call again before somebody makes the call for you and say, come identify.
Yep.
Or-
And that's real.
that's the prayer. But like I say, everybody's sitting here. If you don't know, if it wasn't you, you know somebody.
Right.
Okay. And it's not a pretty spot, to be in. Being
Right.
judgmental is a toxic behavior in itself. And I've
Mhm.
seen, like I said, I've seen that. You think you got the answers to everything. Everybody should be you. Why can't
Right.
everybody just toxic? That's why folks don't want to be around you. Walking on eggshells. Here's the last one. Walking on eggshells.
Ooh.
Okay. And then guess what? And then they bust out on you and explode. Totally toxic. Don't say nothing. Go to silent treatment. You good? I'm good. How
Right.
you feel about that? I don't have any feelings about that. Are we okay? We're good. And then
Woo!
one day, you get it all. And no warning. And
None.
come and
none.
just go completely down.
They going off.
Volatile and erratic behavior. That's toxic. And then they'll come back. I was just having a bad day. I mean, they lay a hand on you. Now, I'm not talking about the ones that go, just the verbal and the emotional. And some people, again, do not certify that as true abuse.
It is.
That stuff right there is as toxic or as traumatic as somebody laying their hands on you.
That's right.
Yes.
There's
It
words
is.
now. There's words now that I can hear that still set me off inside. I know enough about it now to try to, to bring it down. But
Right.
because of things that were said to me or about me,
Mm-hmm.
that would sound stupid to you. It's like, well, anybody know that's not true. Yeah, but the person, the
Yes.
person that said it, in the
Right.
context that they said it,
Yep.
stature that they said it,
Yep.
it's still a wound.
Yes.
Right.
Right? Like any wound in your body, if you manipulate it the wrong way, just like this knee, most days I'm good. Okay. I went bowling the other night. The knee was like, we're not good. It's not that the bowling was bad, but I manipulated it in a way that I hadn't in a while. So
Right.
the same thing, those words come back in a way that maybe you haven't heard them in a while. And it's
Right.
just like day one all over again.
Right.
But those hot and cold, the hot and cold, I'm all up on you. I love you. Love that love bombing. That's a big thing now, right? So I'm all up on you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Then I can't stand you. Or I love you, love you, love you, love you. And then I disappear. Then I come back. And then you're supposed to still be like everything is okay. What are you talking about? You selfish. Maybe I was going through something. Did you call and check on me? Did you call to see about me? And I've seen, again, men and women, I've seen women do this in friendships. It's like, are you for real right now?
Right.
Yes. They
We
for real.
bestie, and then you gone and you come back and wonder where you're not happy to see me.
No.
I finally went through, like I said, 3 deaths in my family, a toe surgery,
Right.
a bad wig day, everything. And couldn't find you.
I
Right.
know
I'm
that's
supposed to
right.
jump up and down because you showed back up.
Right.
Seriously.
Right. But they don't
Too
think
much.
nothing wrong with that. They don't think nothing is wrong with that either.
No.
It
And
just
like I
be
said,
blowing
life-
me. It's like,
and let me
wow.
say this, life happens, and I get that. So let's
Right.
say that we've all fallen off with people, but I'm talking about folks who expect that everything is supposed to be exactly as it was. You come back with no explanation.
Right.
Like, I get it. If I've disappeared for a while, I've done it to people. It's like, it's been one. Like, hey, since I haven't talked to you in a while, but girl, it's been one. Really? I was wondering what happened to you. But like Valencia said, you never say anything. Somebody's supposed to be a mind reader. How would
Right.
they know? I would think that you were trying to manipulate me, and be selfish, right? It's all about me, right? Because you're
All
here
about me.
for my bidding, right?
Yeah.
I should have just dial a prayer. I know people do it to Maria all the time. Anybody can get a prayer through. Folks don't go, girl. I just, and they know she gonna do it. Okay, I got the cake, Marie. Don't worry about it. I got the cake. So 7 ways to fix these toxic records. We way past time tonight, but I don't care. It's the end of the year.
Woo woo. We made it.
This is our last one for 2022. 7
We
ways.
made
The
it.
first one, everybody said already. Become self-aware and accountable
And
for your
accountable.
part
Yes.
in relationship breakdowns. When you start seeing these ups and downs and these cycles, whoa, what role am I playing in this? Okay, where do I stop the train and get off? Okay, where do I draw a line in the sand? What do I need to do about me?
Mm-hmm.
Being aware and accountable for your actions. Now, this one I thought was interesting and somewhat hard to do, but all of you have said it in one way or another, and that's learning to love yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To
Yep.
love yourself. It
That's
is the
right.
greatest, right?
That's right.
But yeah, learning to love yourself. If you love yourself enough, there's certain things you're just not going to allow.
You're just not gonna allow it.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yes.
That's exactly correct.
Some
That's
mamas
exactly
here,
correct.
if we loved ourselves like we love our children, or like we love we wouldn't let these things happen to us.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't allow it. We would protect ourselves. We would put some safeguards in place, right? Being proactive to prevent some of these things from happening.
Yeah.
So loving yourself is not just, like I said, the self-care. Oh, I do bubble baths, I get my mani-pedis. But it's about, again, valuing myself. What matters to me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's standing up for that.
That's right. And
So
being okay when somebody else doesn't agree with it.
Right.
that's still the hard part. And here's why. And I think we only got one baby girl here who's not. We got one generation. We got two. No, you still in our generation, but you on the end. That's our baby girl over there, Takara. But in our generation, where we raised to be nice girls.
Mm-hmm.
And so being a good girl or being a nice girl, you want everybody to be able to say, she's a helper. You know, you can count on her. That's part of your reputation. What you say, Valencia?
Sorry, yeah, she doesn't talk back. She doesn't complain. She doesn't.
Yes, exactly. Because that would be being a mean girl. And girls just don't behave like that, right? So managed. So I'm just saying, I found with younger women, they've kind of been empowered. You speak your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you say what you want to say.
Yep.
50 and up, we had to learn. And like you said, it's pretty recent that we've come into feeling comfortable with speaking our minds and not waiting for the fallout. Unapologetically peaceful. What did I tell you? 55, I'm getting this. 55, late bloomer, right? So, like I said, if you're younger and you have it already, bullet for you. If you're 60 and still don't have it, get you some. It's it's free over here.
Baby, it's friend. Oh my God, it's friend. Woo! You're gonna be like, man, this is what I've been missing.
We soaring over here. Okay, we're soaring over here.
This.
Okay. So become self-aware, be accountable for your role in your relationships, learning to love yourself, be present and listen to others. Sometimes people
Yes.
tell us, and we reject those conversations, especially if you are a master of that victim role. And as soon as somebody says something to you, that wall goes up. Here's somebody coming at me again. They just maybe even a kid. I've seen kids reveal things to people. Look, you know what? If a little kid tells you about somebody, you can take that to the bank.
Show
Little
enough.
kids and
Show enough.
old people. I promise you, little kids and old people will break it down for you so
true.
clear. Okay? They know a devil when they see one.
Mhm.
Little kids say, she's mean. She's a liar.
Yeah.
And we couldn't even say lie. Think about
Try to
we
tell you.
So
you're
good.
telling a story.
Yes.
We couldn't even
You
say
telling the
liar.
story.
She telling
Okay.
stories.
So, you know,
Uh-huh.
so being present and listening to others. We said earlier, you know, consider the source, of course, who's saying it. But there's some validity when people bring things to you, especially if you're hearing the same message over and over again. Stop, take a minute, take it in. Like I said, take the meat and leave the bones. Yeah, I maybe I could, because I'm hearing that a lot. And I'm hearing it from some people that I admire and respect. So that might be some truth to that. This one up here, the preacher lady over there, yeah, she got me yesterday. We're not gonna be friends no more after tomorrow. Because she should have told me some stuff last night about me to Cara. I just laid the phone down, started walking around my room. She was still talking.
What?
I was like, for real?
Great
Is she
note
for
to
real? And she kept going with it. But here was the thing. I had heard it before. So I knew it was true.
There's
Right.
that
Now-
confirmation.
Marie hasn't known me that long. Okay,
Mm.
she's known me from a distance for a while, but she hasn't known me up close and personal for a while. So when she said some stuff that I know I heard at
Listen.
least 2 years ago, I said, well, I'll be.
And it's confirmation, and it's also sometimes we need that in order to shift to the next place.
Yep.
So if
Yep.
we're in a place of stagnation because we don't want to receive something that God is trying to tell us 5,499 different ways,
At least.
and then he'll send this person that fresh
Yep.
breath of air where you're like, okay, you new to me and you saying this, so there's got to be truth to
Right.
it. And we have to, well, we don't have to, but it's best to receive it than to go around the mountain and not go up the mountain.
Oh, right. And when we do that, and sometimes we'll do that, why? Because it's comfortable.
Yep.
Very.
We get
Yep.
comfortable in pain. We
Yeah.
get comfortable in discord. Like
Yeah.
you were saying earlier, if that's kind of what we think life looks like and is supposed to be, even if
Yeah.
it's painful, you say, well, just some people think love is painful. Love ain't
Yeah.
painful, it's loving the
Yeah.
wrong person.
Yeah.
It's not loving yourself, but it's not
Right.
love that's painful. But when we
Right.
get used to it, you get used to it, you'll accept it and be like, well, that's
Right.
just kind of how it is. And I think for Black people, we accept a whole lot. We just think everything hard
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everything's been hard.
Yeah.
But we Well, we accept some things being hard that don't have to be. How about
That's
that?
right.
Exactly.
I had a girlfriend tell me she didn't think her boyfriend loved her if he didn't beat on her.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what she saw in her house.
Yeah.
That her
Right.
mother, every man her mother had beat on her.
Yeah.
And that was he would always say, I love you, but you acted up, so I had to do that. And so the girlfriend,
Brought
the
it on
daughter thought,
yourself.
she said, if my boyfriend don't hit me, he don't love me.
Mhm.
And we had to do a whole intervention with her when we was 15, 16, no, 17. And her boyfriend came down there trying to do that, and we all got in his face. And then after they put him out, then we had to do intervention with her and tell her that's not love.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not love. Love is
Yeah.
not abusive. Love doesn't beat you down. That's not love. So we had to have a whole intervention with her. But she really said that out of her mouth. Well, if he don't hit me,
Really, a lot of them say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well,
A lot of
right.
people say that.
Well, let me tell you what it is, and then I'll be brief. I used to mentor these young girls when I used to live in Springfield, Illinois. And one of the things I did with them was I brought in a speaker, and I said, we're going to talk about the music y'all listen to.
Yep. Come on.
And so what I did with them was I had music prepared that was, from different generations that actually had meaning and messages versus what they were listening to. So what I did is I played the music, but I also had the tablet actually showing them the lyrics of what they'd be bouncing and juking and jiving and shaking
Right.
their butts to, and have no clue that words are seeds.
right?
They're going into your ear gate.
Yep.
And so there's something that is taking place with that. So there was this song where I forgot the name of it and who made it. Thank you, Jesus. But one of the things that the guy was talking about was, yeah, I want to beat my girl like Joe Jackson did. And these
my.
girls didn't know what the heck they were saying. Beat him like Joe Jackson. I said, skirt. I said, do y'all know who Joe Jackson is? No, Mr. Carr. I said, that's Michael Jackson's dad. Michael Jackson's dad used to beat the kids. Now y'all juking and jiving because you want somebody to beat y'all?
Right.
That's what y'all want? So they're learning this toxicity from music.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
these things. And
Yeah.
if we're not watching and acting like we care about these kids, we got problems.
Oh yeah.
And when I tell you, I mean, these kids, they were listening to stuff. I said, let's play the song again. No, Mr. Carr, no, I don't want to hear that. No, you ain't gotta worry about me playing that song no more. I don't want it. I literally had to school them, but no one's doing that. So
Yeah.
they're learning these toxic behaviors from these avenues, and they think it's okay. They think it's cute. They think it's the hippest thing ever, and it's
Well,
not.
that's not new. That's not new. I did a show when I first started this group about the messages that we have learned about love from music.
Mhm.
And I highlighted Aretha's music, and I love the Queen, God rest her soul. But when I tell you, I learned some toxic stuff from listening to some Aretha Franklin. Wow, Ted White was beating her.
My
Okay,
Lord.
back and forth, and she's writing about it and playing that piano, playing out that grief from the abuse that she was experiencing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that soundtrack from the time I could stand up and listen to music, and I rehearsed those songs and I sang them in the basement, and my
Mhm.
grandmother would tease and call me, sing Aretha, because I love singing those songs. But the message in so much of her songs, yes, she was about women empowerment. Yeah, respect just a little bit, just
Right.
But a lot of that longing for somebody who don't give a damn about you.
Yep.
Crying and begging for him to come back, baby. Please, just give me half of your love. I don't even want to get into the lyrics, but I did a whole show about that and just really unpacked that. So this is not new to this generation. We learn and we're taught love is hard. And to show you a really good woman is how much abuse you can stand. ride or die. Why I
How
gotta
much,
die?
how much you'll take?
Why I gotta lay down and almost die for you to love me?
Right.
That shows my worth. That shows my
Man.
stick-to-itness, my loyalty to you. So that was the primer. I don't want to get into the other. Gladys has some really ridiculous songs saying, "If I was your woman," you really?
Mhm.
You ain't gotta ask me, honey. I'll do it for you. You ain't gotta ask me. She treats you like glass. I'm gonna treat you like a diamond. I'm trying to get you from the woman that you're with, so I can move from being the side chick to being the main chick. I'm gonna beg you over here just to give me a little bit more than the corner you've been giving me. That's toxic.
Sure enough.
That's toxic. So we learned at the feet of Good Soul Music that I should sacrifice.
My Lord.
That's what makes me a good woman. I have to earn this love from a man, not show up and be a good woman and have him love me. I got to show him that because I endure all of your bull,
Right.
and I let you have train tracks up the front of me and down the back of me, because of that, you should love me. And then he still gets to sit in the driver's seat and choose whether he want to deal with you or not.
Right.
Now, how toxic is that? So it
Right.
might not be the physical beating that you're talking about in some of the music today, but most definitely it's like I said, it's a primer on abuse.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've heard men as well. I've dated men. I don't argue. And I've had a couple of guys that's like, you just don't even care. And I was like, I absolutely care about you. But I can't tell. You ain't even willing to, you ain't got no passion behind it. I mean, if you really feel some kind of way, I ain't got to be up in this ceiling to tell you, I don't care for this. I don't like how this is going, whatever. Oh, right here on a 3. I ain't got to go up on a 12 and argue with you.
Right. Exactly.
But when I met their families, I found out that's why, because everything they do is up in the ceiling. And that's how they express caring, and that's how they express love. So toxicity it's a mess. Be present and listen to others. Celebrate the success of others. We come out of our own space and start looking outward instead of everything being about you.
Exactly.
And it's hard. It's hard at first, especially if you suffer with that jealous monster. That's a hard one to do. But celebrate the success of others. Be vulnerable. Marie talked about that quite a bit tonight. Being vulnerable and let other people in. That takes a lot of the stress on us to be this perfect person, to be this giver, to be there for everybody, to be on our piece. It takes a lot of that stress off. So be vulnerable. Let somebody, I need help, or I'm not good with this. Or even as Valencia was saying, when you said that made me feel some kind of way. Didn't sit well with me. Be vulnerable and let people in. Ask for help. Tough one, especially for givers and doers.
Yeah.
Ask for help. But that's toxic that you keep trying to do everything yourself. That's not a badge of courage.
Right.
We talked about that on the holiday show. A lot of women in particular carry that, but I see men do that too, because I want to be the strong one. I don't want my woman to know that I'm worried about something, or that maybe I don't know how this is going to work out. So I'm going to just shoulder it and I'm going to hunker down and I'm going to make it happen. When you might need to say to her, hey, babe, I'm going to make it happen. But if you could do this part, this will help. This will help. So asking for help. And the last one, you already know, I'm always going to end here. Get some help. Not just ask for help, but go get some help. Find you a therapist, find you a counselor, find somebody who will listen unconditionally, unjudgmental, and help guide you to the answers that you need, that you can get off this roller coaster that you're on with your toxic self. Stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're all just trying to get better. That's what this is all about. That's what these conversations are about. If you as a single entity is better, your relationships are going to be better. Your family's going to be better. Our community looks better. We get where we need to be. I said, not just ourselves, but like I said, as a people. So that's what we got. If you're the toxic one, fix yourself. Okay. If you address the negative areas in your personality, then the New Year's resolutions that you're thinking about are going to take care of themselves. You can sustain the promises to yourself, or you can't sustain promises to yourself if you're not in touch with yourself. The poison, listen to this, the poison from the toxicity that we have eats away at your dreams and it stagnates your success. And that's what I heard Takara say a while ago. So as we move into 2023, which we only have a few more hours before we are there, address that toxicity. Pack light. Pack light so we go in and get the things done that we need to get done. So I am Dr. Kim, your relationship renovator. I want to help you get together with somebody or keep it together if you're already together. That's the purpose of us getting together every Friday night. You can find me, Kimberly A. King, on Facebook. You can also find my group, Love and Life According to Dr. Kim, on Facebook, and the Complete Suite LLC, where you can book an appointment where I can be your life coach or your relationship coach. I would love to partner with you in getting rid of some toxicity, right? Or finding some solutions to your problems, okay? We work it out. It's painless, I promise you. It's painless, I promise you. So I want to thank Miss Marie, thank Miss Regina, thank Miss Takara, Miss Angelia, and Miss Valencia. Valencia, I want to hear you sing that song I played at the beginning. I don't know why I could picture you singing that song.
What
Ugly
song was that?
part of me, Avery Sunshine.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I could hear you singing that. I would love to see that in the new year. And so, well, I have to read the chat. Y'all got all kinds of things going on in there. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect from YouTube, and then I want you all to come back on so we can answer some of these. Okay, just 5-10 minutes. We're gonna stay on rest of the night. But like I said, love you all to life. I hope to see you on the other side. In 2023. But thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Night.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Happy New Year. Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Everybody's still here. They're still here.
You said get off and come back.
I know I did. That's what I was saying. And I didn't even sign off there. And I didn't say good night to my unicorn angel. Good night.